Hello!
Hello, that was unexpected.
And welcome into another Friday with LH Crypto Weekly
Weekly analysis.
So the schedule for today's video.
Bitcoin.
Yep, the fully featured overview of the puzzling situation in the market.
Okay, yeah. Some altcoins, right?
Not to mention all these connections with global economy and so on and so forth.
Yeah, okay. And some news about China.
Just some news about big China.
Starbucks.
Yep, a couple of shares advice.
Okay. And
just a flashback to one or two news from previous episodes, right? Because news tend to develop. Just like we do.
I told you so, or something. No, you didn't watch Scrubs. You didn't. What? What am I doing in the same room with that person?
I told you so. 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 I told you so.
Right. Okay. Let's go. Bitcoin has actually not crawled as high as 6,000 per Bitcoin, but the overall trend is very promising. And right now, while we are making this video, actually we are making it beforehand.
Somebody's making money.
Yeah, well, we expect Bitcoin to test 5,200 USD per Bitcoin per coin, and then it is expected to go as high as 5,700, and maybe when we release this video, when you're watching this video, it will be already like close to 6,000. But it may also fail, and the conservative expectation is 5,150, right?
Right. All that fuzz around cryptocurrencies and their aspirations on their booming, so led to the unexpected growth of cryptocurrencies turnover. So yeah, specialists say that in total, turnover of trading crypto flows reached 89 billion. After that, another specialists say that in China, the number of requests for the word Bitcoin reached the first place in the Chinese search engine Baidu. Baidu, it's like Chinese Google. So the Google, which is now celebrating, well, Gmail is celebrating 15 years, so congratulations. So the curious point is that the amount of searches has been 3 times larger than it was the week before. Yep, and just the second most popular search is just 3 times behind the Bitcoin. The curious thing is that, you know, another word used to research with Bitcoin was price, buy, and shares. No idea who in China thinks Bitcoin can be sold in shares.
Okay,
but perhaps this is another trading instrument. We have to add it into our trading platform, surely.
Okay, funny you mentioned China, because I also have a news about China, piece of news. And in China, National Development and Reform Commission has released an updated list of different industries that they either support or restrict or even want to ban. And mining Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies is in the ban list. And they actually didn't even say when they want people to stop mining, which means they have to stop immediately right now. And this is actually double funny because of this search history, request history, and also because China has like quarter of all the ICOs on cryptocurrencies, and of course they produce so many mining farms, manufacturers and stuff, and like how are they supposed to not mine when they produce the mining things?
Don't stay behind. Hurry up, open an account, and buy your Bitcoin now. Slightly and softly shifting to the world of shares, real assets and commodities, I just can't but tie it with the news from Catherine. You know, China, like it was said, Chinese government is thinking over banning the mining of cryptocurrencies. Well, historically, China was actually the leading country for producing all that mining stuff, and so they bought tons and tons and tons of video cards, which are known to be their favorite tool for mining. And who produces video cards? Nvidia is a company which is known to which is known to be one of the leading manufacturers of video cards and all the related equipment. And so they achieved their historical shares of Nvidia achieved their historical peak of 280 USD per share in 2018 in spring. So just when all that fuzz and all that mess around, mining and so on and so forth, began just to go down, and so were the shares of Nvidia, which fell actually to 120. Can you imagine? So that's really a very sharp fall. But Nvidia used to rebuild structure of business and fix itself to the changing environment of market. So they decided just to buy Mellanox, a competitive company, for 6.7 billion, and their technology let them become one of the main competitors of Intel. Combining all these two facts, so the growing popularity of cryptocurrencies and the room for improvement in data center sales, we may say that for the middle-term period, Nvidia shares is a good advice for your investments.
Good. Starbucks. Starbucks is doing great, and this year only they have grown by 16%, right?
Right.
And to $75 per share, and analysts expect them to go even higher and take up like 3 or 4% of the US market. And meanwhile, the coffee shop giant is planning to modernize the customer experience.
To what extent of modernization they are planning to reach?
Really,
because they're already
the sky's the limit.
doing fine.
And develop their stores, and also recently they have announced 2 billion buyback. Stocks of Starbucks will keep growing, and it's also a nice thing for your investment portfolio.
Yep, just to add to the advice of Catherine, I've checked the Starbucks shares chart, yearly chart, and can you imagine in 2012 the chart was, it goes 45 degrees up, without any downfalls whenever it is. Not to mention that in in the beginning of 2010s, the price of one single Starbucks share was 5 USD. Now it's 75, which makes it 15 times growth.
Actually, about this logo of theirs, this mermaid. It's a medieval mermaid that was also a human. She turned into mermaid.
Thanks, guys. Your coffee does not smell with fish. Do you remember that Saudi Aramco is about to be listed in some stock exchange, in New York Stock Exchange, kidding? So can you imagine that due to the auction on the... So can you imagine the demand for Saudi Aramco shares peaked 100 billion USD, which is almost 8 times bigger than the actual volume of their IPO. So experts say that company has very stable foundings due to the very stable founding of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia itself, not to mention the very tight ties with government. We do agree with colleagues, although we should remember that close ties with government may be as well a weakness.
And speaking of IPOs, I want to remind you that LH Crypto is presenting IPOs, like 5 or 6 of them, and whenever they come to the market, we have them for you to share and catch the wave and be like an avant-garde of trading, whatever.
At the forefront.
So...
Is it not to mention, we just forgot that Starbucks shares and Nvidia shares are both trading in our trading terminal. So don't forget to open your account and enjoy trading, becoming rich.
May the profit be with you.
So just our traditional wish for you and for us, and have a great weekend, have a wealthy weekend. So yeah, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.